So far we have discussed the games with perfect information. So in this module we are going to introduce a new representation of the game which is called the games with imperfect information. So what we did until the last time is games with perfect information, where every player has a perfect knowledge about all that is happening in that game. So it can observe the current state of the game, it can see what the actions that has been picked by the other players and so on. So everything was perfectly observable, and that is why it was called the perfect information game. Now, why is that not meaningful in certain kind of games? So for instance, the card game, where you know that the player has played a certain certain hand or a certain card, which means that that card was there. So maybe you can also predict some of the cards that the players have, the other players have. So because you can always rule out the cards that you have in your hand. But you do not exactly know exactly in which state the game is in. So there are certain things that you can observe, there are certain things that you cannot observe. So we cannot really represent this kind of games using the perfect information extensive form games. So that is the reason we bring in this concept of imperfect information. So one very simple example. So let me tell you that the majority of the games which are of practical use does have certain amount of information that is not available to all the players, and that is why those games become interesting. From that point of view, the imperfect information extensive form games are actually the games which can capture a richer set of phenomena. But in this module and the following modules, we'll be discussing a very micro level view of such kind of games. So we will actually go into the nitty-gritty details of the strategies, the actions, and when different kind of strategies are equivalent, and so on. You should keep in mind that we have a larger game like the card games in mind. But what we are actually analyzing is a very small section, if you will. These are just pieces of those large games. The larger games can only be solved using computers, but for smaller games we can actually build our ideas and program such that we can solve larger imperfect information extensive form games. So the simple example is that of a normal form game. We have already seen this example, the neighboring kingdom's dilemma. The first exercise is whether you can represent this game using the extensive form game representation. So we have seen the perfect information. Maybe the first thing to try would be to represent this game using a perfect information extensive form game. Now, what the perfect information extensive form game does not allow us to do is to make sure that both the players are moving simultaneously. That is, when a particular player is making a move, it does not know what is the what is the action that has been chosen by the other player. So there is no method in which you can do it in a perfect information game. So we can actually extend the same idea of extensive form, the perfect information extensive form game. Let's say player 1 is moving first, and it has two choices, either agriculture or war. Now you come to the second stage where player 2 is going to make a move, but the assumption is player 2 does not observe what player 1 has played. So in order to show that, we connect these two histories of this game. So you can consider that this is the history W and this is the history A of this extensive form game. We connect these two histories with a dotted line to mention that for player 2, these two nodes, these two histories are actually indistinguishable. So note that we'll be using these terms nodes, vertex, and histories interchangeably because they all mean the same in the context of extensive form games. So once you represent it in this way, that 2 does not know which history it is in, it has to pick some actions, and the action has to be the same because the player 2 does not know which state the game is in. Therefore, the action that it should pick must be the same. So that is one of the requirements of this new development of the extensive form game, which is this imperfect information extensive form game. So this is one example of how we can construct the extensive form game. In this example, we are just transforming the normal form game into an extensive form game using the ideas of imperfect information. So what I just said is that player 2 does not know which of the node or the history this game is in. So this indistinguishable histories form an information set. So these two histories, if you like, A and W, is called. So this the nodes or the vertices that are connected with a dotted line is said to constitute an information set for this player. So in this case, A, that is one history, W, that is another history. These two things together form an information set for player 2, which will be denoting with I of 2. So this is the information set of 2. Maybe just the first information set. There is no other information set for this player here. Now we have already discussed that this is a more general representation than the perfect information extensive form games. Now this representation, so when you are transforming the normal form game into the extensive form game, this representation need not be unique. You can already beginning to see that you could have put player 2 first and player 1 second, just in the reverse order, and then connected these two histories for player 1. So player 1 is now playing here, and it cannot distinguish these two moves of player 2. Therefore, these two vertices constitute the information set for player 1. So let us make this understanding a little more formal. Of course, we'll have to introduce a little bit of notation. So the extensive form, the imperfect information extensive form game builds on top of the perfect information extensive form game. So here, whatever is shown in white is the thing which we are actually taking as is from the perfect information extensive form game. So this part is taken from a PIEFG. What we have introduced here is this notions of information sets. And this information set we will discuss in detail. This is something new that we are introducing for the imperfect information games. Now what is this I subscript of I? So this is a collection of some other sets. And the collections are all disjoint. So we will call such kind of a collection a partition. So what is this partition? This is partition of those non-terminal histories, the vertices which are not leaf vertices, where player I is the player. So if you want to look at this, so this is these vertices here and here are non-terminal vertices, and player 1 is the player here. So therefore, these two nodes together will constitute the, let's say, I1 of 1, and there is only one partition here because player 1 does not have any other information set. So if you look at this II1 to IIK of I, so there can be in principle ki number of information sets for player I. So in order to become an information set for a player, there has to be some additional property. So of course these are partitions of these nodes where player I is playing. It has to have the property that the actions at those histories must be identical. So whenever you are picking the nodes in this game tree, you'll also have to look at what are the actions that are available in those at those vertices, and that has to be the same. The set of vertices, the set of actions has to be the same. The player has to be the same player, of course. So this J, the index J, is representing which information set we are talking about. We will call these individual things as the information sets, this IIJs, and II, which is the collection of those information sets. So what are the things that that is very unique about this information set? We have developed the notion of this new notion, the player that is playing in that information set and the available actions for that player must be the same. So this is one requirement of the information sets. I mean, you can also call, remembering this concept better, is an uncertainty set. So the players are actually uncertain about which history they are currently in this game, and therefore in this information set they are indistinguishable for that player. So let us also list down some of the differences with the perfect information extensive form game. Now you can see that at the same information set, all the actions that this player can take are identical. So instead of defining this set and this script of X, which was earlier denoting the set of actions at a history, we can now define this set instead of the history at an information set, because we know that if there are two histories which are living in the same information set, the actions must be identical. So therefore I can, without loss of generality, define the action set, the set of all possible actions on the information set itself. Similarly, we can also define that the strategy set for player I as the Cartesian product of the actions available not on the those histories or the nodes, rather on the information sets. So we look at that action picking set, the set that picks the action. Now that action set is defined on information sets, and we take the Cartesian product over all the information sets that is living in the collection of all information sets. In our notation, we have used this superscript J to denote which information set we are in, and if you take the product from 1 to ki and take the x, the Cartesian product of all these sets, script x of ij, that will give you the set of strategies for player I. Now, what we actually gained by moving into this imperfect information extensive form games, we have seen that we can now represent the normal form games using extensive form games. This was not possible using perfect information extensive form games, but you can see that the representation is not really very succinct. I mean, it's not very compressed. It is actually even though you could have represented the normal form game using a game matrix, which is a very concise representation, with extensive form games you have a lot more redundancy in this representation. So therefore these representations are still possible, but certain representations are appropriate for certain kind of games. So that is the takeaway message. But nevertheless, this IIEFG is a richer representation. So it can actually represent the normal form games. It can represent the perfect information extensive form games. So in the perfect information extensive form games, we can think of that as a special case of imperfect information extensive form game, where all these information sets are actually singletons. Now, so that is one of the reasons we have actually moved to a richer representation. Now, whenever we have richer representation, we'll also see that there are certain richer representation of its strategies and the equilibrium notion, and that is what we are going to discuss in the future modules.